Hello, everyone. It is another magnanimous night here in College Park. My name is Quentin, and today I'm joined by.
Hello, and my name is Mel. We're super excited to have you guys back in the studio tonight for another competitive stream. Tonight we'll be watching our Terps Overwatch Academy team compete against University of North Carolina Pembroke in a best-of-5 match. We've played Pembroke before and came out on top, but we won't let our guard down tonight.
Before we get into the action, let's go over some of the fundamental rules of Overwatch. Overwatch is a hero-based team shooter where teams of 5 compete to push payloads, capture objectives, and all around dominate the opposition. Players must meticulously strategize and collaborate amongst a cast of diverse characters, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, and ultimate attacks to take the victory.
On that same note, the winner of today's match will place 5th in the 2nd Division of the 2026 Overwatch Playoffs.
So now that you're covered on what's happening tonight, let's introduce you to our Terps Academy Overwatch team. First up, we have Huntsman, our team's tank, leading the charge. Huntsman usually plays characters like Junker Queen and Hazard.
Second up, we have Bacon, our first DPS of the night. Expect to see him on Sojourn, but, you know, he's able to shake it up.
And third up, we have Red Nocturne, one of our team's support players. He likes to play characters like Kiriko and Baptiste.
Next up, we have Perry, our second DPS of the night. Expect to see him on Hitscan, you know, that Cassidy, maybe even a Tracer.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Yellowist, another one of our support players. You'll likely see him playing a lot of Lucio tonight. And now that you've met our Terps Academy Overwatch team, let's get into the interview with our team's Flex DPS, Bacon. I gotta lock it. Hello, Bacon. Thank you for joining me today. We've got a lot to talk about. First off, big updates happening to Overwatch. We've got Season 2 coming in. New hero alert. How do we feel about Sierra?
Sierra, she was kind of weak at the start, but I saw the damage buff she did, or they did to her. It was a 29% flat damage buff across the board. And I saw that. Mouth is drooling. I want to play that character.
Yeah, no. She is definitely very strong right now. I've played her a little bit, especially, you know, not having to aim too much. Can make it really nice. Now, we don't often get to see the Academy team play on stream. How do you think you guys are going to perform in this unfamiliar environment, being all here in studio today?
Just like how we approach every other game, you come in with a fight plan, you do our basics, make sure we take space properly, communicate what we could do, and approach everything structurally that you can apply everywhere. And I think even though this is a newer environment to us, we won't be phased. I have trust in my team.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to go about it, you know? Just have faith and try to do the best you can. Now, you guys have played Pembroke before. You came out on top. But is there anything that you guys are a little worried about today? Anything that that they might pull out that you might have to change things up for?
I do know last time we played Pembroke, their tank was very scary in how he or she controlled a lot of space on the map. And that's going to be something that we'll be looking forward to try to be more aware about and play more carefully around this time around.
Yeah, no. A good tank can really really change the play of the game. So it's good to see that you guys are prepping for this. And now, as we look near the end of the season, looking forward to the next one, what are some changes you want to see going into this next season? Some changes that you guys want to make in the off time?
Off season, I would like for us to start developing more characters within our hero pools, especially within DPS. I know both me and Perry, who play the DPS positions, have been working very hard to try to expand the flex DPS hero pools that we have and try to be more customable and more flexible for the team roster, especially coming up to the next semester.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a very good thing to have, you know. When things aren't working, you can always change a character, hopefully, and you know, switch things up. I think it's definitely a good skill to build.
I do hope one of our 4 support players learn Anna next semester. It'll be really fun to be able to play with the new perks that she got.
Yeah. With those perk changes, she can be definitely pretty dangerous. I know a good Anna can definitely be very, very pesky to deal with. Um, but again, thank you for taking this time to interview with us. And that will conclude our pre-show for tonight's match. But stay tuned because we'll be right back getting into the action right after this commercial break.
My name is Subin Kim, my in-game name is Carrots, and I'm the controller of this team.
My name is Hannah, my IGN is Tuxedo Sam, and I play Sentinel for the team.
My name is Sima, my in-game name is Care Bear, and I'm a Flex.
My name is Megan, my IGN is Giraffe, and I'm an Initiator.
My name is Sophia, my IGN is Soap, and I'm an Initiator.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayush, my in-game name is Dulcexo, and I'm the coach.
For me, I think it was just really interesting to see like our names on like social media and like on a website. I'm just like, whoa, my name is on a website but so I think that was like the number one thing that kind of like just it brought the realization of like what kind of team I'm in, like what kind of position I'm in.
Meeting them. It's like hard to make a woman and non-binary friends in Valorant, so it's just really nice that we have like a team specifically for that.
The studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio.
The
Oh,
studio.
I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that existed until like remember like when we first talked about the studio, I was like, what's that? When I first went to the room, I was like, oh, there's cameras and lighting. I'm just like, that's
Nice computer.
nice
The
computers.
monitors
So
are
true.
crazy.
Winning.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
W winning.
Getting that.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I feel like
was pretty cool.
Plastic.
hey. I would say supportive is definitely like Dusty and Rachel. Those two, just like making sure we had scrims down, making sure we had practice schedules down. Like Dusty making sure like to pick out what we did wrong, just like helping us improve. I think definitely.
Yeah, Dusty's a very present coach, so
Very.
it's like he's really reliable and helped us through the whole season.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, you'd even like schedule things for us,
like organize all those schedules.
help us map bands and like talk to
Stats,
them
yeah.
if like realize if one of them was like unranked or something. Breaking
Forfeit
a rule.
teams.
Forfeit
Making
teams.
teams forfeit.
Maybe we don't talk about that last part.
I would also say like our fans in chat, like on
Oh,
stream.
true.
and stuff. It was nice knowing
W
people
chat.
watching us.
And the haters.
Oh yeah.
Improve in the higher division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is definitely more challenging because we're in a higher division now. But I think we could with our coordination. I definitely think we could. We need to bring home another one of these.
It feels great.
You
Yeah.
guys know this is the first title that Terps Esports has won.
Wait, seriously?
And by
Really?
women.
Oh, seriously? Oh,
First down.
cool.
I like playing Valorant.
Have an excuse to play games.
That's true. That's good.
For me, I joined because, I've always wanted to be on a women's team, especially since I got to UMD, and me and Dusty had always tried to make teams work every semester, and this was the first time it actually did work and stuck, and the people who tried out were committed. So I guess I've always just wanted to be on a women's team to connect more to that community.
To make friends.
So I had that gap, without a team for a while, and then I saw the form, and I was like, I really want to try this. This sounds fun. And then, yeah, I play Valorant too much. First of all, I did not imagine me being IGL when I first started because I am outside of my Lilac team. I am known as the no brain, only aim chamber in comp. So I did not imagine myself being IGL. But like, I think it's like if there were some difficulties in the beginning because no one like I wasn't used to giving out comms. I was just very confused. But I think now it's just like the amount of trust that my teammates give me when I give out comms and the amount of like coordination that we have. Like I just love being like IGLing because I trust that things will work out.
I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will red turn things around?
Hello, everyone. We are back getting into this match very soon. We're playing against, again, UNC Pembroke. We've played them before, and we beat them. So hopefully we can recreate that tonight. Again, the Academy team here is playing for 5th place in the 2nd division. So it is a bit of an important match. You know, this is depending on how they finish, and how they finish now depends on, you know, where they're going to be placed going into next season. So this is definitely a pretty fundamental game, especially looking into like improving their situation next season. And our first map, I've been told, is going to be Busan. Okay, a very classic Overwatch map, so hopefully we can see some pretty classic Overwatch gameplay. I mean, there's been some new changes as of recently. We've got our new hero, of course, Sierra. I don't know if anyone's tried her out yet. I've had some fun.
I'm great.
My greatest, I think the best thing about her is she takes away the fact that you need to aim a bit. You need to aim enough, but not that much, and that's really great because, you know, sometimes after a long day, the last thing I want to do is hit my shots. So I mean,
you go on to the hero shooter.
Yeah, so I go on to the hero shooter and then play the don't have to hit shots hero. I mean, I'm not playing Moira. Okay, I'm not.
Hey, no disrespect to the doctor.
You know.
She has a license.
And I hit my shots decently normally, but like, you know, it's nice to not have to every time, and I appreciate that. And also, she got that, as Bacon mentioned, big damage buff, 29%, I think.
She hurts
across the board. So yeah, she hurts.
Her ult is rough.
Yeah, I've been shredding some people, and I've been getting shredded a bit. But yeah, I mean, at least she's fun to play. That's the good thing. And also, new heroes, isn't that crazy? The modern day Overwatch, whew, what a game. I mean, this is the 6th new hero in like
this year.
Yeah, this year. If we go back to even like, if we include Vendetta in this, like that's what, 7 new heroes within like under a calendar year, which is never happened before in Overwatch. I mean, if you guys remember, all like the big one was Sombra. They were teasing her for like 6 to 7 months before they actually released her, and I think Anna was like 4 months maybe after the release of the game. So they're not usually known for being pretty, not really adding too many heroes. So it is nice to have a lot of new ones to keep it fresh. Maybe that Marvel Rivals pressure is actually there and actually doing something good.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
I do, especially, I've seen less discourse with the addition of Sierra, because I think a lot of people are very satisfied with her design, and I haven't seen too many complaints about her gameplay specifically. Whereas previous characters that came out, there's been a lot of complaints, at least gameplay-wise, for like Jetpack Cat, or any character that can move another character is going to disrupt the player base. No one likes Lifeweaver, no one likes Hog Hook. It's just been a consistent issue with, I think, any hero shooter ever. Yeah. But when we're thinking of like the design, a lot of people me included, hated Onron on release, because when you compare her to her like original comic appearance and other heroes in the cast, she just didn't kind of stand up to maybe the expectations we have when Overwatch used to have very, very creative character design. I mean, Ramatra is amazing. Hog is an amazing like character design conceptually. And then you add in just kind of the same woman, copy and pasted with a different hairstyle, who is indistinguishable when you get into like changing skins and things like that. But with Sierra, I think she's definitely more unique than other characters. We're with another woman of color, which is always, well, not that Onron is a woman of color, but you couldn't tell from her design. And there's been a lot of like improvements, I think. They're listening to feedback, which I appreciate. And I think the next hero is supposed to be an Omnic. Oh, no, it's the next hero, I believe, is the tank from Diva's squad. And then I think there's an Omnic hero also coming this year, which I'm excited for. I'm an Omnic fan. Please, more Omnics in the game.
Yeah, the Omnic storyline is definitely the one that they... like. It's weird because I think a lot of people are very interested in it, but it's the one they kind of ignore a lot. I think also because it's kind of hard to design Omnics, but... It's
the entire driving plot behind Overwatch is the Omnic crisis. The entire antagonist is Omnics.
That was the that opening the first cinematic that we got, the one that went super viral with Tracer and the assassination
of Mondada. Rest in peace.
Yeah. That was whole Omnic storyline, Maximilian, all that.
They've kind of just thrown them to the side, unfortunately. Ramantra is somewhere in the middle of the
Ramantra. Yeah, I do think they are trying to listen a little more and get more into that. I mean, they teased the Ramantra Diablo skin, so that's coming up. He's at least getting a skin, which is nice. The new Omnic guy, I believe he's gonna have a cane. That's gonna be.
He has a cane and a little hat. I think he kind of looks like on Hollywood. You know the movie posters. There's one for like a detective noir, I believe, that kind of looks like him. I don't think it's him. To be fair,
it looks similar. Yeah.
I wish they had more fun with it. It does kind of look like it is just a guy who happens to be an Omnic, which is a plus. But like, what happened to fun shape language? Yeah. Where are the fat people? Put them in the game. Where are the people who, like, it's a video game. You can have people who don't have realistic proportions. Hazard, at least you're kind of going for a weird shape, even though it does ultimately add up to just, standard Dorito. But I think they should push it up. Have fun with your cartoon style game. This isn't Call of Duty. You don't need a photorealistic mutton chop on someone. Like, it's... Yeah. But we'll see. I'll...
And with Omnics, they also kind of have that opportunity where, like, you can kind of make whatever. I mean, Ramantra, he's got a very... That's part of also, I think, why they kind of don't like including Ramantra too much, is his model is so complicated because he's... It's very cool, though. It is what, like, everyone was really drawn to.
It's hard to improve the base design, honestly.
Yeah, that he can transform into this separate form that, like, also fits in his original form. I mean, also his lore is very interesting. And I think they are trying to trend more towards listening to people. I mean, they did change Onron's face in the newest update.
Very slightly.
Very slightly. But it did, it is less, at least, like, Kiriko copy and paste there. And she looks at least somewhat like her brother now, because she's supposed to be Wu Yang's brother. Shout out to the whole Elemental College storyline. Yeah, that's everybody's favorite, it seems. Water College, Fire College.
I'm waiting.
Remember, there's no magic in Overwatch. There's no magic in Overwatch. They're really going to die on that hill.
What about the magic of friendship?
No magic, they said. Nope, none at all.
But there is in the studio today.
In the studio, there's the magic of friendship.
There's so many friends.
All around us.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. We've got a great team here. But, yeah, Overwatch is definitely going in an interesting direction. I think it's definitely, better. It's better than what we have had. And I think there's potential for it to be better than I think it's really ever been. Because, Overwatch, especially recently, has had some rough spots. Some real rough spots. So it is nice to see more happening and more planned to happen.
It's been doing a lot better player-wise. I know, especially with Season 2 coming out. I saw Doja Cat do a stream recently, which it's kind of surreal. I feel like Overwatch was approaching the end of its life, and then the rebrand away from the two has been pretty successful. So
yeah,
I as a lover of the game, I'm always happy that it's going to hang on a little bit longer. But I want to make sure that they're not forcing it. We can't see the abuse of an IP. As we are beginning to load into the first map of Busan, I'm seeing a Junkrat on the Terps right now.
Yeah. Well, he just disappeared. Soon we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, I mean, this is what we get with academies. We get things that are a little less
fun, more fun.
more fun, less like strictly, oh, this is in meta, this is not. Because, we're at this point where, you can really, I think, get over some of that skill, like some of that like meta gap of who's more balanced than other people, who's more overpowered than other people with just having such proficiency of a hero. And that's where I really like is you get to see more of that personality. Players are a little more unique and defined because they have their like specific heroes and specialties, and then you can also see like heroes you never seen before or not that often go and do crazy and really cool things and have like this big impact that you don't normally get to see. So that's really cool. Although Pembroke got a pretty meta-defined lineup. We got D.Va, Sojourn, Kiriko, Lucio, and Tracer. But the Terps, we've got a Winton. We got Farah and Emery.
Winton is currently very meta. Yeah. The dive composition is always strong. But I think I'm more interested in that Farah, which Farah is also very consistent. But I'm thinking on Busan specifically, I don't know how that Farah is going to play out. The Emery is very standard, and we have the typical support backline, which I have my own beef with. As we're already seeing Kiriko on Kiriko violence, can't complain about that, as the Terps are cleaning up the Pembroke backline, leaving only Miyagi on tank as well as their Tracer. But I think that's going to quickly be cleaned up here by Bacon. And it's just already a rough start for Pembroke before the point has even been capped. Completely wiped off the map.
Yeah, the Terps taking the first fight there and taking the first cap. A great start. One thing I want to point out is that the Terps, I know you can't know what hero the other team is going to play before you see them. And the Terps definitely got an advantage with a Winston playing into a D.Va, getting past that defense matrix. It's definitely going to be tough for Pembroke to play into that matchup. I know that they're going to want to play the heroes that they're familiar with, but it might be a good idea really for them to switch things around because so far, definitely in that first fight, Huntsman's Winston did a whole lot of work.
We are already seeing a swap from Pembroke, switching out that, was it a Junkrat, for a hit scan with that Soldier to take out the Farah as it successfully wiped out Bacon. I'm having a rough time with language today as we're getting into the second engagement of the map. The Terps already approaching 50% on that capture objective. Huntsman unfortunately being wiped out, leaving the Terps without a tank, and they're just going to kind of wisely retreat back into this little spawn gateway to hopefully not get the rest of them picked off. Unfortunately, Perry and Red Nocturne immediately falling to that brand new Soldier who was apparently a very good decision from Pembroke here. I wonder if the Terps are going to try and counteract that on their own with some of their own switches.
Yeah, no, I think that fight was just a little bit of an overextension there, just getting a little too far and not having that backline to really support you. That really took Huntsman down, and once you lose that tank with dive compositions, it can be really tough to recover, and we just kind of saw it all fall apart. So hopefully, moving forward, the Terps are just a little more aware of everyone's positioning.
We are at the point of the match where the ultimates are starting to pile up. Both sides are coming up on that beat, which is going to be very exciting, and the DPS ults are at the ready. As we're seeing the Terps once again find themselves without Huntsman at the very beginning of that engagement, which is incredibly rough, as again, we see the Terps just having to backpedal out of that point, getting cleaned up here by that aggressively engaging D.Va. You would think that the Winston would do a little bit better here, but it's not enough. I think the Pembroke's DPS is outputting too much damage here.
Yeah, I gotta say that Soldier has been definitely putting in work, able to take out some of those pesky areas. And I gotta say, with that Kitsune Rush, that beat coming out, the Terps are looking to try to make something happen, especially as this counter goes up. And it looks like it's working. Oh, and the Fair Ult coming out as well. The Fair Ult not gonna get anybody, but Perry is gonna take out that Kiriko. Right now, Pembroke just getting cleaned up, the Terps taking care of the rest of it and getting that zone. A good engage by the Terps, but definitely using a lot of ultimates where Pembroke hasn't really used any.
Notably, they save that beat where the Terps immediately use both of their support ultimates like simultaneously. Pembroke is holding on to, I think it's probably going to be a beat Overclock, a beat Soldier ultimate. We have a brief pause right here. A little bit of technical issues, but I think the Pembroke's beat is going to be the defining factor of this next engagement, as Pembroke is, again, already approaching. Was that, or is it the Terps at 90% on the map?
That's going to be Pembroke. Pembroke's got 90%. With this extra time here, I do want to go in and maybe analyze a little bit of what we've seen, a little more in detail since we have the time. That last fight you know, the Terps were able to win it, but I feel like it was just kind of a lot of ultimates at once, which definitely is going to clear people out, but it's going to put you in a tough position moving forward, especially Pembroke having 4 and having beat, which is probably the most, you know, impactful ultimate in the game, probably, especially like not even situational wise. Like it's very, there's a pretty high baseline of value that you get from just pressing it, like pretty much no matter what the context is, because, you know, it makes you basically immortal for a certain amount of time. And I think in the fight before that, the one that Pembroke won and let them keep the zone and get to 90%, what I saw there was the Terps were able to put up a decent fight, and that D.Va is definitely scared of the Winston now and definitely staying back. But that soldier changed, and was able to catch the Winston, and that's when we saw the D.Va push super far forward, and then we saw the Terps kind of start to fall apart, because, you know, a really aggressive D.Va with nothing to stop it can be very oppressive, and I think that's what they've been doing, and kind of what I saw in the first fight is just trying to get rid of that Winston so that they can have their D.Va move in super fast and just wipe out the rest of the Terps before they can react. And I think the Terps are really just going to have to take note of that and really just make sure that they are protecting their Winston and that the Winston is not overextending way too far, so that the supports can at least keep them alive. Here we are, unpausing, moving back in. The Terps trying to get that percentage. The Winston ult coming out. Bacon able to take out that soldier. One of the more pesky things.
Oh, but again, a very aggressive engagement from Huntsman here. He successfully getting that health pack and staying alive due to his team following him into this little back room. So it's working out this time as the Terps have wiped out the entirety of Pembroke besides that pesky soldier who somehow skedaddled away. But I think that's what we were talking about before. Huntsman, those very aggressive engagements. It worked out a lot better this time because I think the team has gotten on the same page. They realize, okay, we're going in this time. As we see Perry preemptively pop that Emre ult, unfortunately getting blocked by that beat and immediately shot out of the sky with the soldier visor as UMD brings everyone back into this back room. Huntsman also falling to that Lucio. Oh, and this is going to be an aggressive bomb from Pembroke, cleaning out that room as they finally take this cap. It was a great final push from the Terps here again, bringing it all the way up to 99% when it was looking so dire at the beginning, but it just, that final aggressive engagement with that beat, that conserving of the beat, as we mentioned, is so vital.
Yeah. And this is where the percentages really come in, and being able to know about how long a certain amount of percent takes and knowing how much time you need to stall. Because Huntsman, you know, in that first fight there, he pulled his ult immediately and they were able to wipe out Pembroke and really corner them in that room, take him out. But the only thing is they were able to come back. They were able to get back there in time right as the Terps were about to get to that overtime 99%, and they just cleaned house because they had such advantages with the ultimates. In that position, you know, you might want to wait to throw that Winston ult till a little later, till when they use their ultimates, or you might want to stall just slightly for more time so that they don't have that much time to be able to get back, because unfortunately Pembroke were able to get back and had enough time to cap the zone, but UMD did not have enough time to get another team fight beyond that.
Onto the second map of Busan, we are seeing the Terps switch up that tank, bringing out a Wrecking Ball. Excited to see this on Huntsman, as it's already looking like it's working out well, doing a lot of heavy lifting on taking out most of Pembroke. Again, seeing that Soldier Lucio doing their best to capture that point, unfortunately not retreating in time. The Lucio hunting down the poor hamster. His team just kind of holding the point as he begins to capture. I don't know what this Lucio's doing. I think this might be the time. Oh, there we go. We're seeing that tactical retreat to the rest of his team, who is beginning to walk back from spawn. But the Terps already getting a good claim. I didn't know when Pembroke got that initial 16%. But we're waiting on this next second engagement. No switches yet coming on.
Yeah, no. Pembroke definitely capped that zone very fast. But Huntsman, honestly, the ball, great pick here. Because he's able to really just put a lot of pressure. They're playing a dive comp, so that ball can really be punishing when they're out of position. And especially right there, as we saw with Perry, with that Tracer, able to take down that soldier like it was nothing. And so I think as long as they stay coordinated like that, it can be a really, really hard offense to compete against. And it's definitely working out for the Terps right now, although Red Nocturne is going to fall to that Sojourn. But Huntsman is working on pushing them back towards their spawn. And it seems to be working. They're keeping them at bay. He's already got his ultimate up and ready. Getting that ultimate fast can definitely be very impactful. Definitely can keep them at bay, keep this percentage going, you know, reduce the amount of fights that they have left till they can cap.
Definitely have to note to be careful with those aggressive engagements, however, as again, right now we're seeing Perry in danger, luckily getting that health pack and able to retreat, but got to make sure you're engaging with that team or maintaining those sight lines in just the right way, as we're seeing, again, targeting on that Lucio, trying to get as much of the Pembroke backline out as possible, successfully knocking out one of the most important supports, but they still have that Kiriko up, who can do a good amount of healing. But we're seeing Bacon just so far back from his team. Now, of course, Sojourn has a great... She has a very long range here. I mean, I guess more mid-range, but she can do a good amount of damage from this distance. But when your team, as we see Huntsman all the way up there on ball, maybe you want to have them a little bit closer to make sure that you can see and do the damage needed, as unfortunately we see Huntsman fall because his Lucio and Kiriko are back here with Bacon, as Pembroke recaptures objective and does that D.Va ult right on point to hopefully clear up some space, not finding home on anyone. Instead, we're seeing the 1v1s be what finally wipe out the rest of the Terps, waiting to re-engage, hopefully with Huntsman, as we see Perry playing around, I think, closer to point, luckily getting out in time before anyone can pick him off.
Yeah, no, I definitely get Huntsman's idea behind that, you know, wanting to just, like, keep them occupied, poke at them so they're never too safe while they're sitting on point. But the only thing is you got to do that to a point, because he got so far out and got caught and wasn't able to come up with his team when they were ready to try to take it one more time. And, you know, now Pembroke has that much more percentage that the Terps are going to have to fight against. Bringing out that beat to try to keep him alive.
I'm not even sure if it got to Huntsman. I think he might have unfortunately been behind that wall in just the wrong moment. But he did manage to live, as we're seeing that Kiriko and Visor combination ult unfortunately take out two vital members of the Terps, as we have Huntsman once again running for his life in the absence of his supports. I think the main issue is that we're seeing Pembroke play so unified. We're seeing their death balling as the Terps are spread out, spread very thin, which can work, and it isn't necessarily like an ability thing, but it's just not working specifically into Pembroke here.
Yeah.
As we're seeing the beat come out, again, keeping the entire team alive, finding home on everyone, as the Terps once again have to retreat. Huntsman getting that health pack, but again, we just need to see that unified engagement on the objective.
Yeah, no, and here we go in. Looks like Bacon is trying to get it. We got that D.Va ult coming out, and it's going to get Huntsman, unfortunately, and he's going to be caught off the zone, meaning game one is going to Pembroke.
I do think the intent of that D.Va bomb was to go onto that high ground with that Sojourn and Kiriko, but unfortunately did bite Huntsman in the end.
Yeah, it did look like it may have pushed him to be off the point enough that it didn't get capped. But Red Nocturne with the play of the game here is Kiriko finding one, finding another. Good play from Red Nocturne, but I want to get into near the end of that second round there. Because what we saw is, you know, there is definitely merit to the strategy of being kind of like disconnected and trying to just like catch them all on the off foot a little bit. But I think it requires a lot of coordination for one, and also, you know, you really need to either make situations where, you know, you're forcing the other team to be out of position a little bit, or you have to be able to notice very easily when they're out of position. And then that also means you're hoping that they're going to be out of position a little more often than not.
I think what's also key is the numbers advantage. We need to see a 1v1 is like, okay, it can work out. It is a good amount of time it is up to chance who can just luckily hit their shots. But otherwise, you want the numbers advantage. If you're engaging on someone as a tank, you want one of your DPS with you. Even if you're doing that isolation strategy, it's a guaranteed clean up. But when it's just like, I am one person and I'm going against 4 heroes who are all clustered together at this moment, or at the very least easily accessible to each other, like a Kiriko who can immediately TP in, unfortunately, it's probably not going to work out for you unless there's you're maybe a single tank going on to the two backline supports, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a single individual go against the entire team, which it's just a strictly numbers thing. You cannot win a 1v5 in most scenarios.
Yeah, no, you need to be careful about who you're sending where. And, if your team is falling down, you should not be the one taking that fight, right? Like, you should be getting ready to work with the team, coordinate, and, have that next push, come into that next team fight as a full team. And unfortunately, there's just a little bit of, disconnection here where we're having people kind of, just...
We're getting isolated.
Yeah, they're getting isolated.
To us.
They're getting, the Terps are getting isolated, and what I'm seeing also is situations where it's like, well, maybe they should just enough people have on our team have, gotten eliminated, so might as well try to push so you can at least spawn with them or fall back and then walk with them to the point. But we're not really seeing that too much. And Pembroke is just playing very, very, uniformly confined and together. And that makes it that much harder to get people out of position. And so, I just think it might not be the strategy that's really going to work with them.
I think we may see more success on something like a payload map. When I'm looking specifically at our DPS's strategies. We're seeing them kind of maintain that high ground in the back. And I think that would be a lot more successful on something like, I'm forgetting, Havana. I think that would work very well on something like Havana, where you have those long sight lines, and basically you can help your tank even from a mile away. But Busan, which it does have those opportunities, has a lot more nooks and crannies, as we saw Huntsman would go around a corner, and then it's basically, what can we do? And so maybe the strategy is just map dependent, and Busan just wasn't our moment for that moment of time. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think map is definitely a big factor there. I mean, especially like when you're trying to draw people out to get them out of position. You're trying to draw them to get out of position. It's a lot harder to do that when they're clustered around one square point. When they're on a payload, especially maps where, it's just a long line and there's a lot of places that you can kind of spread off to.
Yes.
It's a lot easier to just poke out at them and be like, hey, and pull them a little bit out of position. Whereas on a point, they're not as incentivized to get off that point. And so I think, it could play a little better into a push map or a payload map. But we'll have to see. I do think that UMD should think about changing up, maybe playing a strategy a little more similar to Pembroke, because, if the strategy just continues to not work, something's got to change. And typically, if you can't get an alternate comp to work, playing against a unified comp like that by just kind of mirroring the unity, I think is usually the best strategy. Because then it becomes more who can play their heroes better.
Yes.
And I think UMD definitely might have an advantage in that factor.
We saw a lot of successful 1v1s when there wasn't a numbers advantage. We saw a lot of success from our DPS, from our tank. It's just, again, there's so little you can do when you are one individual stacked against the entire enemy team with all their supports and their ultimates. You really just can't make it work in any way. But again, I think a lot of it really is the map. So I'm excited to see how it shakes up as we get into these further matches. Again, this is a best of 5, so we have plenty of time for things to change a bit, see what the Terps are willing to do. I remember hearing that our tank could also do a Junker Queen, or maybe even just a bit of a slower moving tank, which Dive is very meta at the moment. We are currently in New York. But we may see a Junker Queen on this map.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with not playing meta.
Yeah.
If meta isn't working for you. We're also seeing
100%.
We didn't mention this during our hero introductions, but we do have a couple of alternate players available. We see Yellowist was not playing the previous match. Instead, it was Kage, I believe, on support, and we're also seeing Poppy now on DPS. So we're having a bit of a player shakeup as well. We'll see how this works. Pembroke already drastically different comp here. We're seeing a Ramatra who is the best brawler at the moment. So that's not too much of a surprise. Again, keeping that Sojourn. We're seeing a Mizuki, which is kind of a surprise. I feel like he's not been too strong at the moment, as well as a Bap, who you can't go wrong with a Baptiste. We love that immortality field with players sticking on that soldier. It was working well for him, so why not?
Yeah.
Terps themselves having a Roadhog. I think that's kind of insane. I won't lie. Maybe on this map, I think you can get some good. You can land some solid hooks here, but in general, Roadhog's kind of a wild pick. We're also seeing an Ilari, which I've been seeing on and off, and an Ashe, which I'm intrigued about that.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with Dynamite, especially now if there's no Kirikos on both teams. I have a feeling Kiriko might be banned, and that's why we're seeing some different support picks here.
That is a factor. We have our bans out here. I think Kiriko is one of them. And that's also the great thing about Academies. You get to see a lot of these unique, odd lineups. I am excited to see Roadhog. I do think that there could be some good picks here, especially...
He has the cute new skin.
He does have the new skin, the very cute new skin. And I think especially considering how that soldier's been, he might be able to pick him. But first, we've got... their Sojourn is going to be getting Red Nocturne for the first pick of the match, unfortunately. But he was able to get his Immortality Field down. Or actually, no, that's Pembroke's Immortality Field, unfortunately. And then they're going to catch Yellowist, too. It looks like the Terps are going to have a little bit of a tough time starting out this match. Trying to get some picks, but it's not really working out. But the great thing about this part of the map is it's really easy, after getting eliminated, to get back up and get back in there. The spawn is not that far at all. And as we're seeing, we've already got Red Nocturne back on the field. Yellowist already moving up back in.
You know, the more I sit with the Hog pick, the more I'm beginning to really enjoy it, especially since I was kind of complaining about how there's a mobility difference in the teams here. But I think since the Hog he has no movement abilities. He just has to kind of waddle his way from point to point. I think that will work out in the Terps' favor. It will, when they have the very mobile DPS with that Tracer, which will allow them to engage with the enemy backline, just stuff, because I think Perry was doing very well again previously with those 1v1s we were seeing. But we also have that Ashe, who, again, also not extremely mobile. She has a carriage gun, I think. Is carriage?
Coach gun.
Coach gun, thank you. Look. But it starts with a C, so I get partial credit. It has that coach gun, but you can't really do too much with that. It's not a soldier run.
Yeah.
So
it's not huge, you know.
Yeah, I think being allowed, just being more stationary together will prevent them from having those one-off picks, which I think when the Terps are a unified force, nothing can beat us. I think.
Yeah.
Power of friendship.
I think we do play really well together when we are just a very confined team like that, and we all stick together.
Throw them in the closet.
Yeah.
Bring them in here. Lock them in. No, nothing can beat when you have all of 7 players.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we are in a little bit of a closet right now. It's not small, but it's not huge. It is. I think it could comfortably fit the whole team.
Comfortably is
not very comfortably.
With the desk that currently has the screen that we are staring at ourselves with. No, I think that would be horrific, and there would probably be humanities violations by putting 7 people in this room with this table.
I think they'd definitely bond, though.
They would bond, but it'd be like a trauma bond, like what Vietnam soldiers got from going in the trenches together. Did they have trenches in Vietnam?
Yes.
Thank you.
But not like
not like World War I. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but
sorry.
Anyways, whoa, there's what Inception. Oh my God.
Hi.
That's a little look into our closet there.
Oh my God.
You can see the screen, looking at the screen, into the screen. We have Inception.
Quentin, say hi. Scoot forward.
Where's the position?
Oh.
Am I visible?
Yeah.
Am I? I can't see myself. Did I look fine? I couldn't see myself when I looked there.
Your bangs were fine.
That's good. It's all about the hair. Yeah. It's always about the hair.
Oh,
yeah, but
we're starting that entire match because there was a bit of an issue with the timer. No complaints because now the Terps can just refresh their mind.
Yeah, not too much has happened, but hey, at least we've learned a little bit of information. They've gotten a bit of an idea, and they might change things up, or they might keep them the same. I do like the low movement on this part of the map because you don't have to move that far. And there's a lot of places. Yeah, there are a lot of places that you can, hide in or peek out from. So you don't need that movement as much to save you, although at certain parts in this map, it might be a little bit better to change it up. It's okay, Flaming Potato. You're a human like all of us.
Oh, look how nice. I love
Everybody's so nice.
friendship and good sportsmanship.
Yeah, shout out to our academy team. Look at how sportsmanlike and chill they are.
Oh, he's selling pizzas. He's selling pizzas.
Yeah, oh my god, his hook's an umbrella? Okay.
It's really, really cute. It's
this,
a good
this skin might be a buy.
He has a tiny little piggy on his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
All of these rainy day skins are actually very cute. And
Yeah,
I like
wow,
them quite a
yeah,
bit.
no, I saw one of them. I think it was the, yeah, because I think it was, there's one that's really hard to tell. I think it,
I think the Onron skin is
hard
hard
to
to tell
tell.
that it's Onron.
Yeah.
But it's very cute. It has a little
they're all very
otter
cutesy.
on her head.
But as we start,
yes,
for the yet again. Huntsman taking a lot of damage, but able to stay alive. We've got a Symmetra now. Yellowist staying as Symmetra, and looks like the Pembroke is going to get the first picks of the match yet again, getting Poppy. But the Terps are still staying alive. We have that Symmetra in the back there, poking at them. Huntsman taking a lot of damage.
I'm kind of obsessed with that aggressive TP though.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, as we see, unfortunately, Yellow is getting knocked out. I must have jinxed it, but it wasn't a horrible decision here. As we have the Terps having to back behind the train. Huntsman stuck in that little room with no supports to help him. Got to get that pylon over to him. Oh, there he goes. He's walking back around. But yeah, we just need to break through this Ramatra. This is a repeat issue we see in a lot of high-level Overwatch gameplay. Ramatra is a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah.
With the mix of the barrier, with mix of the Nemesis form, and as long as his supports are alive, he is functionally immortal. The Terps have the benefit of playing with that against that Mizuki, who doesn't have the best healing output. As we see, unfortunately, Huntsman falling with the combination of that Ramatra and Sojourn engagement. But I don't know. Okay. We saw Zarya for a moment, and now we're seeing a Domina, and now we're seeing a Sigma.
Sigma.
Wow.
Okay. It's definitely good to see a Sigma. I love watching Sigma. I gotta say, I do agree with kind of changing off that Hog, because although he could keep himself alive decently well, he wasn't really getting much value damage-wise. And I think Sigma can achieve a little bit of what they're looking for here, because, yeah, Ramatra's really hard to fight against. I mean, he can give that barrier that gives like 1,500 hit points, and then he can give himself like way more with that block in his Nemesis form. But boom, there it is. Huntsman getting that final kill. A lot of work being put in on that kill by Yellowist, though, being a fully charged Symmetra, doing insane levels of damage. Able to take it out, and the Terps are going to clean up. Red Nocturne getting that Mizuki, and the Terps are going to work on capping this zone. Looks like they're probably just going to get the cap. And we'll be moving on to the payload round.
We're just seeing a lot of beautiful plays from each individual Terp here. Look at that cohesion. Look at that aggressive push, capping that point. Looks like that Sigma switch was what was needed to bring everything all together. I think that barrier is doing a lot to help the team here. We also saw a great Baptiste ultimate come out from Red Nocturne there, as the Bob is already being thrown right into Pembroke's backline, but unfortunately I think he ended up a little bit too far and isn't able to help the Terps quite as much as they would like. But they're holding on strong with the help of this Sigma getting the support he needs from the Terp backline, pushing that payload forward. But again, it's a little bit difficult to knock out this Ramatra no matter how well you're playing. You really need to poke into that backline, as unfortunately we're seeing unfortunately, death is great flavored. The Ramatra immediately falling as he pops his ultimate. And that was just a great play. I'm really happy with the Terps right now. We're seeing some beautiful gameplay. Just all focusing in on that one objective and getting them out of the game as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, this past little interactions, these last fights have been super coordinated. Very well, like, working together. Just working together, which is what we wanted to see. Just staying and sticking together. And we're really seeing that. Pembroke really, really liking what the Terps are doing. So much so that they're going to copy it. Switching to Sigma, but Huntsman bringing that ultimate out. Yellow is going to get it. That Soldier ultimate doing work. Looks like Huntsman is going to pick up that Soldier, though, at least, and the Terps are trying to get a few more picks, and there it goes. Pembroke just completely falling apart there in the end. Terps so well coordinated, all working together.
Did you see that beautiful pincher maneuver? They were all in that little room, and we saw Huntsman come up through that back door. And again, Sigma's 1 ability, Mouse 1, can do a great amount of damage with those little bit of area it takes up as the rest of the Terps were on that high ground, just kind of closing in around Pembroke, making it so they couldn't escape, as we're seeing Mirror Visor come out, not Visor, window come out from these Baptistes, but it ends up in the Terps' favor, knocking out the enemy Sigma before he can do anything, as the Terps just continue to walk onto the enemy team. It's working out so well, and I'm oh, whoa, we're seeing a Zenyatta. How do you feel about that? I don't know how I feel about Zenyatta from Pembroke here, with that Genji.
Yeah. Pembroke seems they're just trying what they can to change things up, because what the Terps are doing is really working. Zenyatta, I like playing as him, but he can be a little tough to make work in these competitive scenarios, especially with the limited healing output. But we've got a lot of trades going on. Pob, fortunately falling, but Huntsman just getting a triple right here, absolutely taking everything out. Red Nocturne cleaning up the Kiriko, and that is going to be a very clean round 1 for the Terps, getting all 3 points, racking up 2 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock. Pembroke really going to have to perform here if they want to keep their streak up and take 2 rounds.
Can I comment on one little play that I saw? And I'm not sure if I saw it correctly, but I really hope I did. I think I saw the Pembroke Sigma Rock go onto a Symmetra turret. And I want to know the thought process behind that. I want to know the steps that how we got there. Like, why did the Symmetra turret warrant a rock? What? But that's all. That's really all I want to comment on. It may have not even happened, and maybe I hallucinated it, but it was enjoyable. As we're coming up on the second match, now Pembroke on attack. I wonder if we're going to see any team switches here. The Sigma's working out for UMD, but I don't know how well it's going to end up on defense.
Yeah.
But
it could work. It could definitely work. I mean, we'll see what UMD does. I think Pembroke is definitely going to probably just... They really... As soon as things stopped working, it seemed like they just started changing things. And I like that, but I also don't, because changing things is good when it's not working, but if you change too much, you know, you see what happens there, where they just end up not really being able to find a flow, not being able to build ultimates, not being able to come back. Pembroke switching it up slightly. We've got a Cassidy instead of that Soldier, and we've got a Wu Yang instead of that Baptiste. So we'll see how that works on offense. Terps choosing to keep things the same, because, well, if it ain't broke, you know what I'm saying?
As we're seeing an immediate aggressive engagement from Pembroke, the entire team pressing that W key and already in that back room with the help of their own Symmetra. But I think the Sigma, again, Mouse 1 is going to do a lot of damage in this tiny room. You can't really avoid it when there's so little space. But it's working out for Pembroke at the moment. There's somehow... The entire team is in there, just all holding hands. But the Terps are wisely not walking into the room of death. We're seeing a Symmetra fight from Yellowist on the floor above, but the Pembroke is following to go and help their team member. Is Yellowist going to be able to escape in time? Jumping out that window just in the nick of time. As again, we're seeing that pincher maneuver. The Terps just kind of enclose around Pembroke. It's a very successful strategy, and you're seeing amazing cohesion from the team here. I love it.
Yeah, wow. That was just a beautiful play. You know, first off, forcing them into that back room. I got to say, Pembroke really needs to make sure that they're not getting, you know, stuck in a place like that, because playing against a Sigma, he does have area of effect on his Mouse 1, and those can really hurt. And so it just, you know, started really adding up, pushed them back, and then once they had him in a corner, they were able to do that classic pincer that we saw, attack him from both sides and absolutely destroy him. Huntsman bringing out his ultimate, not catching anybody with it, unfortunately.
I saw the vision.
Yeah, but the fact that he does have the ultimate that fast is definitely something worth noting. Even though it didn't really go anywhere, it is worth, you know, noting that he got it that fast. They have that Kiriko rush coming out, trying to make something happen, and it looks like it's working. Yellowist and Red Nocturne falling. Poppy barely staying alive. Huntsman getting taken down by the flashbang from Cassidy. Death by flashbang, unfortunately. And it looks like Pembroke is going to be able to continue on and take the point. They got 4 minutes to make it to the end. So it's not exactly the easiest thing. Although, also looking at ultimate-wise, we're relatively even, although Pembroke does have the slight edge coming out with this Cassidy ultimate coming up soon.
Oh, unfortunately, a great Sigma ult coming out from Pembroke here as the Terps are staying all together, but luckily it doesn't manage to knock out any of the Terps backline here. Huntsman successfully just keeping up a united front on this high ground, which is doing a great job, just able to poke down onto the enemy team, who seems a bit too scared to try and engage in close quarters as we're coming up on this Sojourn overclock from the Terps. Red Nocturne unfortunately falling to the brand new Freya on Pembroke, who I don't think I noticed until just now. I wonder how long she's been here. She already has her ultimate. And Yellow is also falling himself to the enemy Sigma. I think the Terps are going to have to regroup here, wait for another engagement. I don't think Pembroke will be able to push to this final point, as the Terps do still have Huntsman alive, who is approaching his second ultimate. Also coming up on that Alari ultimate against Sojourn Overclock with that Baptiste window. Oh, but the Pembroke Cassidy ultimate is coming in to just kind of cover the landscape and making sure the Terps cannot safely engage, allowing Pembroke to cap to the second point.
Yeah, no, UMD definitely struggling a bit with the new Pembroke changes. Although Huntsman right now trying to put in work, keeping them at this checkpoint. I mean, they only have 4 minutes and 20 seconds, so it's definitely possible to keep them here. That is the advantage of going to getting, you know, the full cap by the Terps here. They have the time on their side. We got that window coming out. Yellowist unfortunately falling. Everything coming out. All the Baptiste util trying to come out to keep them alive, but unfortunately they're just getting shredded. I gotta say, this Freya has been putting in some decent work. We see that Sigma ult come out, not catching anybody, but making them quite low. And there they go.
I do think we saw Huntsman on the Terps eat that Freya ultimate, though, if I caught that correctly, which kudos to him if that is true, but unfortunately it didn't work out in the end as Pembroke was able to push them all the way back into spawn. But the Terps are ready for that next engagement, only waiting on parry, but they're right at spawn. You know, it's worth it to continue to engage, not a long walk back. As another rush is coming out from Pembroke, and I think this might do a good amount of damage to the Terps, but luckily that overclock managing to knock out that Freya, who has proved a big threat. Also, again, killing that Cassidy. Cleaning up Pembroke, allowing their Sigma to just walk on, as unfortunately we do have to take a little break again.
Yes, no. Little break, take it in, absorb everything. Let's think.
A lot happened.
Group discussion time.
Oh, Socratic
analyze.
seminar.
Okay. Let's analyze this piece of media.
No?
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely a great interaction by the Terps. They're coming out very strong. I liked how it just used one ultimate. You know, they didn't overcommit anything, which was really nice. And the one ultimate was able to gain enough effectiveness. Pembroke definitely also doing pretty well right now, though, because they have been able to make quite a lot of progress. And right now, they're doing on better on time than the Terps were. But there's still plenty that can change. You know, the Terps can just you could totally hold them here for 4 minutes. That is definitely possible, especially if they. This is the big one. Just be conscious of those ultimates.
Yes.
As long as they're very conscious about it and they don't overcommit and they keep just that slight advantage, that's enough to do it. We're going to be moving back into this game here soon. But yeah, the Terps are definitely just going to have to keep the defense high, keep playing kind of aggressively. Pembroke seems to struggle with that super aggressive, you know, push out. Really focus, especially on picking off those DPSs who have been putting in a good amount of work, especially that Freya. Just getting rid of them is definitely the priority here.
At this point in the map, it also is worth it to, again, have those aggressive engagements and really push for as we're hearing a lot happen right now. Here we are, back into the game. That Alari ult managing to come out, as we're seeing, again, the Terps playing very far up, and that's because Pembroke's spawn is so far back here. Look at that amazing Alari ult there for a second. Oh my goodness, gorgeous engagement from the Terps here. But, again, Terps can afford to play up here because the spawn is still so far away for Pembroke.
Yeah.
It's an entire different room. The only downside is that it is a bit of a healthy walk for the Terps. You have to do a little bit of maneuvering. You can't see this engagement from the spawn, which can be dangerous once it starts snowballing. But Terps have a stronghold on this high ground. Again, seeing that Sojourn ready to dominate, but aggressive engagement from that Freya, forcing her to retreat. But we're seeing that window come out, allowing that Sigma to keep that engagement just, again, impenetrable barrier. That's the most important thing. You cannot let Pembroke walk into, as the Cassidy ultimate on that high ground catches the Sigma without his shield, unfortunately cleaning up Huntsman, as again, we have just a push from Pembroke here, knocking out Yellowist on Onron. They really just need a collectively regroup. It's walking forward. They have 3 on payload. It's getting there quickly. Having that Wu Yang ultimate come out on Flaming Potato to hopefully aggressively walk into the backline here, but Huntsman is able to get back to that point, stall for a little bit longer with the help of Yellowist, and he's somehow still alive. I jinxed it, my bad. But Terps are holding on strong, having that overclock already ready again, allowing them to push Pembroke away from the objective in these final moments. Look at that, 1.87 meters. It was very close for the Terps there, but again, that very short walk from spawn, I think, doing a lot of heavy lifting here, allowing the Terps to re-engage very quickly. And Pembroke is only coming up on 1 ultimate, so a good outlet right now for the Terps. Only have to hold for another 40 seconds.
Yeah, no, this very well could be the last fight there. The Terps definitely a great recovery. You know, it was questionable handling of the push from Pembroke, but they were able to stop it at least before the Sigma ult coming out. And fortunately, the supports playing together, healing each other, keeping themselves alive. Perry able to pick a player there. We got the Huntsman Sigma ult coming out. Not really getting too much, but at least keeping them at bay, pushing that time. I mean, they only got 10 seconds, and they're not even on point. Terps in a great position right now to finish this out. Only a few seconds left, and Pembroke is still far behind. It looks like they're trying to push out of that room, get onto the payload, at least try to keep it in overtime. We've got overtime starting. Timer's ticking down. Red Nocturne, Yellow is falling, but Poppy using that ultimate to get rid of that Freya, get rid of that Mizuki with Huntsman. Perry falling too, but Huntsman able to stall and stall and stall and take down player. Poppy's going to fall, but Huntsman is still stalling, hopefully buying enough time to get his teammates back out here. The spawn is just right behind him. As long as he keeps it going, it could be good here. The enemy Sigma falling down, that's going to be huge, and there it is. And that is going to be game 2 to the Terps.
Woo!
A great play by the Terps. Definitely a lot of improvement seen in that game. Definitely very well done there. Just a lot of changes. A lot of the things that we talked about, they changed, and I really like to see that. Here we got a play of the game from Huntsman. This is that amazing moment. That amazing moment. That pincer, the pincer technique, the pincer strategy coming out. Boom, all of them stuck in that little corridor, and boom, they just all go down like dominoes.
That was beautiful. Like,
yeah.
I genuinely, something about
there.
playing in stairwells for me, I think it's so fun. I love that condensed space, and especially with that Sigma, when they're all standing together, you throw, again, your primary fire in there, you're hitting everyone, and it's hurting bad. And just the way the team all came in to help their Yellowist on Symmetra, it was really gorgeous to see. I love when just a team, it all works out, and it really worked out in the end as the Terps again took home this second match here. And I do think a good part of it was the map. I think this map was much more suited for the Terps' play style, allowed them to maintain that high ground, even though it didn't necessarily come into play too much in these moments, but it was really, really good to see. I had a lot of fun watching that one.
Yeah, no, definitely a very fun match. And like I said, with that last match is, you know, there weren't as many like places that you could kind of like push the enemy team to, but in this one there were plenty, and we saw that especially with that play of the game there, that pincer maneuver. I mean, they put themselves in a bit of a disadvantageous position by putting themselves in that room, and the Terps recognized that and pushed them back into that corridor where they could absolutely just destroy them, take them down completely. They just all got shredded. And I think that play isolated kind of represents the whole game, the kind of strategy there, and what really the moments that worked the best for them were when they did that, when they were able to kind of push them into places they didn't want to be in and absolutely take advantage of that. And I mean, we saw that especially on the end. They really kind of just pushed them. They were like slowly kind of like pushing them away from that payload into, you know, that little area in the back there that has, you know, a lot of like, that can be more confined space, or just, you know, especially like into that room next to where the payload was. That's where they got a lot of work put in, a lot of advantage. A lot of the fights that they won were when Pembroke was forced into that room. Yeah, so I think the map definitely worked out really well, and I think also the Terps adjusted a little bit. You know, they had the Sigma. They were definitely a lot more coordinated, less divey. You know, their DPSs played a little more. You know, they were poking out, but they were a lot more cautious about how far they go out, and they were coming back definitely very quickly. And I think, you know, just great adjustments overall, and that in combination with how the map suits them as a team, I think we really saw, you know, why the Terps won that one. Like I think it was really definitely a deserved win there.
Yes. And not that Pembroke didn't put up a good fight. I just think there were some moments that were some very questionable plays. I think, again, talking about that play of the game, bringing your entire team into this enclosed room relatively far away from your spawn, so if someone does get picked off, it's going to take a hot minute for them to get back and be able to engage with your team, and making it so they were completely sandwiched from all sides. There's 3 entryways into that room. There's the upstairs, there's that side door, and the door right onto that objective. We saw Huntsman aggressively engage as Sigma from that... I say aggressively engage so much. Aggressively engage from that doorway, again, using his M1 into that room, doing massive amounts of damage with, again, a little bit of AoE attack. We saw them poking into that side door, making it so they could not escape or immediately Symmetra teleport out. And then, most importantly, we saw Yellowist on Symmetra in that upper room, poking down that stairwell, which encouraged Pembroke to go up that stairwell and hopefully try again, push away that pesky Symmetra in your backline. But that was the exact trap he had laid out. It allowed UMD to follow into that enemy room and make it so there was truly no escape for Pembroke, letting them just clean up the entire team. It was a great play from UMD, but I think it, as again, encapsulates UMD's playstyle, also encapsulated Pembroke's playstyle this game. There was some moments where it's just, maybe don't do that. But, well, again, just as Busan was not UMD's map, maybe Pembroke is not meant for the big apple, you know?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see moving forward. I do definitely agree, though. There were questionable points by Pembroke.
The rock to the Symmetra turret. Someone can fact check me on that. But I think that happened.
Can we get the replay?
I wish that was play of the game. POV, I dunked my shot onto the Symmetra turret. Not that, to be fair, I would totally, if I was playing Sigma, I would have done that. Because I don't play tank. But
I mean, that can be like almost a power move, you know?
Yeah, flex.
I don't need my rock. I'm going to throw it at this turret.
Or maybe the turret was just so annoying.
Nah, maybe it was like, this turret's going to get me.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, we're not in their minds.
You're not.
I'm not, at least.
You don't know what I do in my free time. I'm in North Carolina. I'm on the front lines doing incredible journalism with UNC Pembroke Esports. I'm really
UNC,
in there.
North Carolina. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. Investigative journalism is well and alive here.
Yep.
At the local collegiate esports scene. And we're going to be moving into Esperanza for our next map. So that's going to be fun.
Push the bot.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing some robots. I always enjoy a push game mode.
I think this map, unfortunately, might lean a bit more in favor of Pembroke's playstyle, however. With those open spaces, at least Sigma will not be as solid in this moment, you know? Like, it's not the play to make. So, I don't know what tank we're immediately going to see. Again, I kind of want to see a Junker Queen from Huntsman. I want to see a Hazard from Huntsman. Or just... Okay, I want to see a Doom. I want someone to play Doom.
That might be a little more tough than maybe seeing a Junker Queen.
I'm asking for a lot, guys, but, you know, it would make me personally really, really happy. And I miss Doom. I think he had a lot taken from him in these recent months. I think he deserves this.
Yeah, both in lore and in game, he's definitely lost some things. But it might be a lot to ask. I mean, I definitely do. I could see a Junker Queen happening.
I can see a Junker Queen
happening. I do
happening.
personally. I like watching and playing as Junker Queen, so it's always fun. And you know, there's always a lot of shenanigans that can be done with Junker Queen. But we'll see. We'll probably not be seeing the Sigma on this map.
I hope not.
But we might see. My prediction. I think we might be going into Return of the Dive.
I know that is the inevitability, but I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Because one, Dive is meta, and meta is boring. Okay, guys, have fun. We're playing a video game. There's no money on the line. Have fun. But it also it would make the most logical sense. For another reason I don't like it, though, it didn't work out for the Terps last time. And I don't know. I don't think that necessarily is because we can't play dive, but I think it's just in that moment, they were doing better on Pembroke. They were able to stay together, have that unity. I hold hands. I'm all about friendship here. But if the Terps can do that, if we can see those engagements with DPS from our tank, then I think it's in the bag. But we have to rely on that. As again, look at everyone having fun over there. Oh, I love the pink. You guys see that pink keyboard?
Yeah. I like
cool.
that. That's Bacon's keyboard over there. If you guys don't remember, Bacon, our interviewee, who's been putting in some decent work in that first match, especially. Yeah, I am a little worried because in the first match their dive was definitely outperforming our dive. But that could be, just because maybe that map, or maybe they needed some time to figure things out. And it definitely, I mean, if you look at last match, they were definitely figuring out that coordination piece, that working together piece. And we've got some interesting stuff going on in the chat here. Boots are quaking in fear of Player's Soldier. I mean, to be fair, that first round, that Player's Soldier, oof. In his sight. He's got you in his sights. Unfortunately, though, it looks like we're going to have Genji instead. So, yeah, that's what they're talking about. They banned the soldier because he's getting them to quake in their boots. I believe we have also that. Isn't that the new Lucio skin?
Yes. Well, not the new one. It's the Karopi one.
New.
It's so cute. I'm glad they gave Lucio a skin, and they gave him the frog skin. Thank you, Blizzard Overwatch. Love that for you.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing, okay, Pembroke, we have that the return of the Diva, and with that Genji, otherwise staying relatively consistent with that Sojourn and that classic support combo of Kiri, Lucio. The Terps almost completely mirroring this team instead with Yellowist on Tracer instead of a Genji. We're going to see how this works out. If the Terps can stay together here, as we're seeing, again, that collective engage, we have the Terps diving with that Lucio, with that Diva, right onto the enemy backline, successfully knocking out Flaming Potato on Lucio, getting one of the supports first thing. Great play, as it's working out great. We're seeing the Terps have a successful opening push here. No one on the bot. Maybe someone should go onto the bot. That might be a good idea, as the Terps continue to clean up. Pembroke.
Yeah, a good first fight from the Terps here. I do like seeing, they knew that they were probably going to see a Diva, so they just Diva a mirrored match because the Winston, it worked out a little bit, but they had some struggle with it. So I like that they're learning, they're changing it up, and it definitely seemed to work out here. We have the Terps getting that first engagement, but we're moving into the second fight. Huntsman looking to get a little picks up here. Bacon caught out back with the entire enemy team. Looks like they're going to try to punish him, but Kiriko coming in to try to save him, but unfortunately not enough. And it looks like the entire Terps team is going to fall back trying to help them, abandoning the bot, unfortunately. And it is not really working out in the Terps' favor too much. Huntsman taking a whole lot of damage, getting really close. And there he is, demexed, but he is using the ultimate to keep himself alive. Almost, very barely very barely getting that redeploy back up, but he's able to take player with him, which is definitely going to be a big thing there. Although the robot is making his way back, and Pembroke has the entire rest of their team besides that Genji still up here.
One thing that we can definitely note about this map is the travel time from spawn. So these kills are going to have a lot more weight than they would in an average game. It takes, that Genji is still walking back as we finally getting into this next engagement. Have that overclock come out from the Terps, trying to hopefully pick off who they can. Not able to knock out anyone before the end as Pembroke pushes their own Diva ultimate. Unfortunately, taking out Red Nocturne on Kiriko. And also successfully demeching Huntsman as the Terps are getting picked off one by one. It's going to have to be a regroup and re-engage here. Huntsman might want to honestly die a little bit quicker so he can walk back with the team as he gets shot. Missiled? I don't know the proper term for that by the enemy Diva, as the Terps just have to kind of awkwardly walk back. Again, look how long that walk is. You're getting your steps in.
Yeah, it's a long walk, especially when you don't have that forward spawn. And the Terps didn't really, they got close, but they didn't reach the forward spawn, and Pembroke is going to be really close to getting this forward spawn, but Red Nocturne, in attempts to stop that, he's got that Kiriko rush out, not really finding too much. We got that blade, but Yellowist able to take down, but Poppy following, and Bacon, and Huntsman getting demacked. Unfortunately, it's not looking great for the Terps here. Huntsman getting full killed, and so is Red Nocturne. Yellowist seems like it may be only so much time, and there it is. The whole team of the Terps wiped there. A very unfortunate second interaction, costing them an ultimate, and just getting taken down. A lot of value coming from players. Genji with that ultimate, that blade there just took down. I mean, you could tell he focused all the people that he knew he could get with that blade first. You know, he got all those lower health heroes out, and those are where a lot of the impact comes from. And Pembroke bringing out that Kitsune rush, just looking to get as much distance as they can from this push here. And it demecks Huntsman, it gets Bacon. The Terps still not in a great position right now.
Oh, and now completely separated not only from the point, but also their spawn, blocked off by Pembroke, who is, again, cleaning up the Terps in this upper little room. And not getting quite pincher maneuvered themselves, but pushed away from, I guess, the goal of the game. I think the main issue we saw here was Pembroke's ult economy.
Yeah.
They only used that player ultimate in, I guess, the Genji Blade in that first engagement. They saved onto that Kiriko Kitsune. They're still saving onto that beat. And, oh, here comes the overclock once again to hopefully push out the enemy team, forcing the Terps to use their own beat. But luckily, the Pembroke having to use their own because this ball is just too annoying in their backline. As, again, Huntsman doing what he can to hopefully pick off someone, but he's so separate from his team. There is just this kind of wall of North Carolinians between him and the objective. As, not looking great.
It's not looking great. Yellowist at least able to get a clean double kill to try to keep him at that full cap, but the Terps are starting to fall again with that Sojourn getting a double. And there goes Huntsman as well. Losing that tank is going to be big. The D.Va putting in work, but getting demacked. Red Nocturne falling to the D.Va. Bacon able to finish that off and keep the D.Va. I gotta say, Pembroke definitely wanted to get the most they could out of that push, and they definitely did. They got almost, that was almost the game there.
All they have to do is live for 4 minutes now. They don't have to push any further if they didn't want to. I don't know how I feel about the bringing back of a ball for the Terps. Again, he can get too far away from his team too quickly. I think he needs that restraint he needs his mobility restrained so he can stay a bit closer, as we're seeing Pembroke's D.Va engage onto his backline, luckily able to make it back in time to keep Lucio alive. Trying to pick off these squishier people as his own team is getting picked off behind him. Hopefully able to get out the enemy Kiriko successfully, taking her out of play. But Low himself, it's just a rough engagement when you don't have your team. It's Pembroke successfully creating a fissure between the Terps, as having to bring out their own Kitsune, who it didn't have much value. It wasn't on the point. It was away from everyone. It's so rough once you get this separated. It's hard to regroup outside of death, which
it is,
as we're seeing, is occurring. Again, another player blade coming out. Something to be feared, but luckily Onron having that ultimate, doing what she can to stay alive. Pembroke popping that beat immediately. Wrecking Ball trying to make some area separate them from that D.Va, but she has the ultimate, able to explode on the point, knocking out Huntsman despite being in that room, and Pembroke is able to get that final push to the very end.
Yeah, there goes game 3. Huntsman mistiming the ultimate a little bit there, because you saw he went into the room hoping to miss the D.Va bomb, but unfortunately mistimed that a little bit. But yeah, a lot of good adjustments and coordination by Pembroke, and we can see it here with that D.Va play, just absolutely shredding through everybody. Yeah, no, that was a bit of a rough game for the Terps. It worked out a little bit near the beginning, but it just Pembroke came in and adjusted, and then it kind of really fell apart. I do like what you said about the ult economy, because I think that was a really big thing, is that Pembroke just seemed to always have something.
Yep.
When UMD didn't, they always had something to pull out, something to save them, something to just keep this push going, and they really were very conscious about how they used them with that first very long, big push, because they wanted to get, once you get that momentum, once you get that push, you get, especially those spawns, you get more advantageous spawns. They were like, look, we understand this is our chance, especially it's 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute max game mode, I mean, other than overtime. So it's, there's not a whole lot of chance to do more beyond that.
Yeah.
So they were like, look, let's get as far as we can and then move from there. And they got almost as far as entirely possible. And, then once you get that much advantage in this game mode, you really are in, you have so much going for you. You can just sit there, really, and win the game. And so I think going into the next fight, they were definitely like, let's test the water, see how it is. And they were like, well, able to just kind of run through the Terps, and so they just ran to the end, and that was the game. I think the Terps definitely need to clean things up a little bit. I'm not too sure about the change to the ball, because I don't think the inability, I don't think the Terps were losing because they weren't able to capitalize on certain people being out of position, or I don't think they were lacking an effective dive. So I'm not too sure about that pick, also because I feel like the D.Va mirror match was one of their better ways to combat the D.Va, and once they lost that, the D.Va just really was kind of tearing through them a lot. And when not tearing through, at least staying alive very long, and staying alive long enough to buy time for more people to come in, especially on that last little bit there. So we'll see what the Terps do going into this next game. Maybe it'll be a map that'll be a little more advantageous towards their play style. But they're definitely going to have to make some adjustments and make some conscious choices about how they move into this next round, because I think this game showed that clearly just playing the strategy that they have been playing, I don't think is really going to work in every situation.
I think there was many repeated issues of just a schism between the Terps. We would see Huntsman or one of the other DPS just completely physically separated by the entirety of the Pembroke team. And that can't happen. That can be effective when you're thinking, again, I'm sure a viewer listening be like, isn't that just kind of like a pincher maneuver? Isn't that just kind of encompassing the team? No. Think about a crab claw for me, okay, Marylanders? Connected here. This? You can't do this. You can't, especially when maybe one side is like this and then the middle is like this long. And is this illusion working for anyone? I'm not sure. Either way, you need to have a line of connection to your team. Your supports need to be able to support you. Your DPS need to be able to do damage with you. Your tank needs to be able to take damage for you. If you're not together and the team can isolate you in that way, you're screwed. You cannot recover when there is such a deep separation. There was a canyon in the middle of the Terps, and its name was North Carolina. But I think, again, not to blame the map. I said it before the game started. I think it was a map issue. I think that it really just was not for as you mentioned, for the Terps play style. I think, come on, guys, if Havana is on there, vote Havana. I think you guys would dominate Havana right now. But it was just so open. Yeah. Or maybe even an Eichenwald. But unfortunately, I am hearing the next map is Cervasa, which I say unfortunately. I'm ruminating on it a bit. It's jumbling around like the DVD screensaver in my mind. Yeah, I don't hate it. Of Flashpoint, of those maps, I think Cervasa is one of the better ones. It's relatively condensed in many of these spaces. It allows the Terps to, again, hopefully do some pincher maneuvers. I need a synonym for pincher. Claw maneuver? But it has the main problem of, again, it can block line of sight so easily. It's going to be, if they go dive again, it's going to be so, it's very accessible for I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. North Carolina can very easily separate the Terps from themselves. And we are seeing, was that a Doom? Did you see that?
Wait a minute.
I saw a Doom. Come on.
We'll see.
Also, is that Red Nocturne on tank? We're seeing Red Nocturne on tank this time. Which,
we'll see.
Come on, if there's a Doom, is this the Doom map? No. Is any map a Doom map though? No. But if there is a Doom, okay, I don't care if we lose, I will hype up everyone so hard, okay? We need to bring a Doom into this game. He deserves it, but we're going to wait. Huntsman is still on tank, which isn't a bad thing.
We're not seeing any of these switch-ups, although we've got Zarya, who we've not seen yet so far. Huntsman at Zarya. Other than that, pretty similar. Pembroke going with pretty much the same thing, but the Terps got an Emre. I do enjoy him. He's fun.
Very strong at the moment.
Yeah, he's quite strong, although he is not too, Oh, no, don't do that! And a switchback. Yeah, Emre, not too different than, like, you know, I mean, people called Soldier Call of Duty, but, like, he's just, like, gun. That's his whole thing, gun and grenade. But he's fun to play, and his grenades are fun. So we'll see how that works out. We have a Reaper, actually. Yellowist moving into Reaper, changing up.
Reaper? Oh, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was really happy with that one. But we are getting into this first engagement. I think Huntsman on Zarya, especially, I guess, expecting that D.Va. Not a horrible play. Can go right through that Matrix, as we're seeing the Terps. Oh, unfortunately, Yellowist on Vendetta getting picked off because he tried to go around back and reunite with his team, and it didn't quite work out. But we're seeing a pincher maneuver from Pembroke coming in through that very doorway to hopefully push back the Terps. Luckily, they did not let themselves get surrounded. They very wisely backpedaled, waiting for the regroup with Yellowist. Are they going to go back through this little doorway? Yes, they are. Let's go through. With the help of our Lucio, we're going to walk onto the point. Let's go, team. Unfortunately, Yellowist on Vendetta getting shot out of the sky by that Cassidy. And Huntsman on Zarya getting knocked out again by that Cassidy. Maybe, I don't... Ooh.
Yeah, with Huntsman falling, there goes pretty much everything. Red Nocturne trying his best, trying his very best, but as a lone Kiriko, there's only so much that can be done. Yellowist seeming to trying to figure out his niche, but Huntsman moving into the Reinhardt.
Woo!
Now that is something that you do not see all the time. But it could work out. I mean, they're playing against the D.Va. You know, there's only she can't defense matrix too much of Reinhardt's kit.
Oh, I see the Reinhardt vision now. That shield to hopefully help with that Cassidy from a distance, but it wasn't enough. Huntsman himself falling to the enemy D.Va as Pembroke just kind of cleans up the Terps backline. Once the tank is down, there's nothing to do.
Yeah. There's only so much that can be done, and Pembroke getting that clean first point.
Oof.
You know, the Terps are going to really have to adjust. They're in an awkward situation right now where I think they're still trying to figure out what strategy exactly is going to work. We have that Kiriko rush coming out. Perry is going to try to mirror that Cassidy, see if he can win the duels. We have that mirror Kiriko coming out, and they get the Cassidy, but Lucio's going to fall, and so is Huntsman, but Perry is able to catch that Lucio. But losing that tank is just such a big thing. Pembroke going to get the cap off of that. You know, once you lose the tank, it's so hard, especially with Pembroke's strategy so far. They've been really punishing those DPSs. I mean, especially in last match.
Yes.
They were getting that tank out of position and absolutely just shredding those DPSs. But you don't have to get the tank out of position when you take them down.
I saw a really big issue on that last engagement with the Terps. As, again, we're seeing Huntsman unfortunately fall. That player going with that blade right after the death of Reinhardt, trying to wipe out the rest of the Terps. Luckily, the blade itself not doing too much, but doing enough for Pembroke to allow them to push the Terps away from the objective. But I need to return a little bit to something that happened a moment ago. We saw the tank so far separated from his DPS and his support in the backline. It's the same thing that happened on Busan. There is a gap between, and not that you should be right up with your tank, but when there is, it clearly was not enough. There need to be more frontline engagements. When we saw with that Sigma, they would all engage together. As we're seeing right now, Perry walking forward with that Cassidy Deadeye, able to de-mech Miyagi from her D.Va. Reinhardt holding on to this shatter. I'm precipitating? No, that's I am not raining. I'm expecting a humongous shatter in our near future. Here it comes, right onto that D.Va mech, successfully allowing his support to help him clean up the rest of the team as they just, again, walk into Pembroke. But you saw what we saw there? They all played together.
Yeah.
When Reinhardt was walking forward, he was walking forward with Kage. It was together. It was friendship. It was teamwork. They should all start an a cappella group.
The troublemakers are here tonight. But, yeah, there we saw a lot of the strengths that we've been talking about just on full display. Working together, that alt economy they were very intentional about, which is definitely very good. We see that High Noon come out, but it finds Yellowist, but it is going to be a bit of a trade here. Although Red Nocturne is going to get packed up by the D.Va. But they're able to take down the Genji and the Lucio. A lot of big gets there, and it looks like that they are going to keep that point, which is great. The Terps coming back, making great changes here, able to absolutely take out Miyagi, falling down. Reinhardt having a little fun with his mythic weapon here. But a great adjustment, a great point, you know. There we go. It's 1-1 now. Anybody's game. Great changes by the Terps, I think, and it is certainly working out.
The Kage Huntsman synergy that we're seeing here. We're seeing that Lucio Reinhardt shared engagement. They both find an objective, then go on to it. It's working out so well as we see Pembroke open up this point with their Kitsune Rush. Reinhardt doing what he can to aggressively engage. Oh, unfortunately, Kage falling himself, leaving Huntsman high and drive to be punched to death by Miyagi as the Blade cleans up the rest of the Terps. Red Nocturne holding on for the little bit of time that he could. But honestly, I think it's good. They all died together. They're coming up on the Terps are coming up. I kind of lied. Never mind. I was looking at Pembroke. Pembroke is coming up on their beat. Terps have a little bit of ways to go before they're ready to kind of succeed in the next push. But that Shatter, it can do a lot. A well-placed Shatter can
really
move the world.
But the Terps are in a little difficult position. I mean, this point alone is already a lot more open than the last few points, and as we've discussed, the openness is not exactly where they shine, and not having the advantage in alt economy-wise puts them in a difficult position, but they're able to at least gain some distance. There's the Shatter right there, which can be very big, but it forces out the beat, and Lucio's going to fall. There goes the D.Va ultimate. It's taking... It doesn't take Huntsman, but the Kiriko takes Huntsman. But Perry is at least able to win that mirror match, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Perry and Yellow is going to fall, and that's going to be another fight towards Pembroke, and it looks like that's going to be enough for them to take the zone, putting up 2-1, putting pressure on UMD as this third zone could be the last zone, which would win Pembroke the entire game tonight. So UMD definitely going to have to give their all on this next point.
Unfortunately, I do think this might be one of the weakest points on Servasa for UMD. It's just so open.
Yeah.
It doesn't give them the opportunities to do what we saw on New York and really succeed in those isolations. We're seeing Huntsman kind of return to that tactic he really likes, is those little side doors to try and get that engagement. It's not as effective in Reinhardt. You need to really be in their faces, Reinhardt. Okay, the entire team together on this high ground, but they need to be careful. It's easy to get trapped up here as if the enemy team chooses to come up right behind you, but it's working out for the Terps as they aggressively push forward. High Noon coming out from Pembroke to hopefully discourage any further walking onto the point as Perry himself baits out the enemy Blade at the very least, but unfortunately is knocked to the ground at the very end. Oh, that High Noon only now finding home on Yellowist. Held that for a very long time. Oh my goodness. As we see Pembroke cleaning up the rest of the Terps. It was just, we saw a lot of separation.
Yeah.
I guess.
A lot of
I
separation,
hate to return to it, but
the openness is difficult for them for sure. And then those alts coming out really put that extra pressure that they just could not handle. And Pembroke still is kind of matching them in the alt game, although the Terps have 2. Pembroke has 1, but it is the Kiriko Rush. That can be very impactful. And there comes out the Kiriko Rush.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh, Perry able to get player with some nice shots here.
Yeah, look at that incredible aim coming on. Okay, I jinxed it. I'm sorry, Perry. That was really unfortunate. As we're seeing the D.Va ultimate come out from Miyaki and clean up the Terps backline, knocking out both Perry and Red Nocturne. Oh, Huntsman without one of his supports is a bit dangerous, but hopefully that Kiriko can get that TP back in so they engage in these final 20% of the map. We're coming up on another Shatter. We're coming up, well, we already have the on-run ult. We have the High Noon, which if they use the High Noon for an aggressive engagement, as we're seeing Pembroke done several times, I have a lot of faith in the Terps here as they're fighting in this tiny little space, but the problem is they don't have anyone coming up behind them.
Ooh, barely getting that touch.
Oh, we have the shatter. Come on. I'm seeing a huge shatter in our future as player is luckily knocked out by the Terps as they all kind of focused on his engagement into the backline. But they need to handle that D.Va, who is successfully retreating into that high ground, getting healed by her Kiriko. But the Terps have finally managed to capture point. So it's looking up in the end, cleaning up the Pembroke. Good stagger here.
Yeah, my only fear is, well, great. First off, great interaction there. The Terps very good. And not using the ultimates because they don't have to. That was very good. That's really going to help them moving forward because Pembroke has that time advantage. They got the 99% first, which means they can sit back and just get their ultimates. And they've got a lot of great ones. That Dragon Blade has been a real crux.
With the beat. Oh,
and here we have the High Noon, yeah.
Yeah, the High Noon for the engagement has really worked for Pembroke. They just kind of pop it and then have Cassidy slowly meander forward. But luckily, what did not knock out any of the Terps this time, but it did force Perry to counter ultimate. But Terps are still holding on to that beat and that shatter. I think it's going to work out very well as we see the Blade come out and knock out Kage before he can land the beat, allowing player to wipe the rest of the Terps with the help of his team.
Yeah, that's just what I was fearful of, and that's going to be it. That is the last point, and that will be our game for tonight. UNC Pembroke taking it 3-1 against the Terps Academy team, meaning Pembroke is going to be 5th, and the Terps are going to be 6th in the division today. We've got a play of the game from player. He's been very impactful, his Soldier and his Genji. Very impactful. That Dragon Blade definitely doing a lot of work this match. Here we see it just absolutely taking out everybody on this last little interaction. That was the end of the match right there. Yeah, and that's what I was pointing out is like they had the time to generate those ults and come in as a united front, and they did. And UMD didn't exactly meet those ults in the greatest fashion. I mean, that beat really should be coming out a little bit earlier, especially knowing that they're going to be coming out with all these ultimates. You really need to throw that beat down, and even that little bit of hesitation was enough where he couldn't get it down before he was taken down, unfortunately. It's a tough way to end it because you saw those glimmers there, and especially that win back, they got up to like 88-90%.
Yes.
There's those glimmers where like when they made it work, it really did work, and it worked really well because we saw them just absolutely shred Pembroke from time to time. Which Pembroke sometimes did, but not nearly as much as the Terps. I think when Pembroke won fights, they were a little more hard fought. So that's really where you like it. It could really go a different way. And it would be nice to see. But unfortunately, they're gonna take the loss to Pembroke this time. And I mean, it went the other way last time. So it went Pembroke's way this time. You win some, you lose some. You can't win every single game. But at least it was a good match to see. The Terps put up a solid fight, and we definitely saw them improve and learn in the middle of the match. And again, those little glimmers where things worked out, they were really great, really entertaining, really fun moments. So definitely a very cool match to watch.
I think what ultimately does matter is everyone had fun. As you saw a little glimpse there in the studio, everyone giving fist bumps to each other, ending in maybe not highest of spirits, but good spirits nonetheless. I don't think anyone here feels like it was a complete stomp. There was definitely a great effort even from the Terps. It's just unfortunate, I think, map selection in a lot of cases, and just too immediately separated by North Carolina. They were very effective at kind of sliding their way in and dividing and conquering, parting of the Red Sea. Oh, because we were red. I should have used that earlier. But I think, again, everyone had fun. I certainly had fun watching. I do always like playing Academy. Well, seeing Academy.
Yeah.
They don't want me. They don't want me. But it's always a lot of fun. And I'm always happy to be in the studio to watch these games, and I'm so happy that they come into the studio to play with us. You do have to remember, none of them have to do this.
Yeah.
So it's great to just see people who are so high level at the game just really succeed and play and have that team synergy. I wish I was good at a team sport like these guys are, but that's why we're here, to watch it happen in real time.
Yeah, no, and I think they definitely everybody's having a great time, definitely, because I mean they don't get to often do this. Have the opportunity where they all get to play together in person, coordinate up. I think they definitely enjoyed this opportunity to showcase their skills and also have some experience of being all together and that in-person experience, because it really is something quite different than just playing with just like game chat or voice chat. You're really able to have an extra level of cooperation and communication that I think definitely lended to them, because those moments that we saw where they did really well were some of the most coordinated moments that we have seen. And so I think a great showing, although it did not go UMD's way. But with that will be our last Overwatch stream
Oh,
for this
guys,
semester.
are you gonna miss us a lot?
Yeah.
Are you gonna miss us so much? Because we're only Overwatch. We're exclusive to Wednesdays, baby. And I know we're your favorites. I know. But we're very happy to have you here. We're happy that we had you all semester. We're so grateful to be in the studio and to be talking to you all about a game we both love so much. So, again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. We would like to thank our sponsors, of course. The Philip Merrill College of Journalism. We love you. Thank you so much for always housing us here in studio, as well as the Recreation and Wellness Center, RecWell. Always grateful for sponsoring our team, as well as PlayWire. Thank you so much for all the support you give to Maryland Esports. Again, we love being here. We have a lot of fun to be here. I'm sure you can tell. So again, just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We'll both be back here in the fall.
Yeah.
So stick around.
You haven't seen The Last of Us.
I'm sure you wish you did, but you can't wear like the gum to the bottom of your shoe, man.
Yeah. But with that, we'll I guess we're gonna have to see you guys in fall.
We love you.
Yeah. Bye bye.